let's dive into a little Saints Bengals coming up, baby, this Sunday. Okay, here we go. Joey B, back in the Superdome, and it's again, it's a bit odd. Like, actually, you know what's funny, Jake? In a lot of ways, Sunday maybe mirrors some of the themes of Saturday, in that these are both teams that I feel like are about equal with one another right now, right? Like Florida and LSU feel like very similar teams going toe-to-toe in terms of how they perform thus far. So do the Saints and the Bengals. Now, I don't think there was a lot of expectation for the teams on Saturday. For the Saints and Bengals, there were a lot of expectations. Yeah. Obviously, the Bengals coming off a Super Bowl. The Saints, remember, some people were picking the Saints to be among the NFC favorites. Looked like they had one of the most complete rosters in the entire league. I think we thought that Jameis Winston was going to be very good. Unfortunately, for both the Saints and the Bengals, the offense has been bad. It's been the weakness of the team. In fact, shockingly, Jake, if you just look at the numbers, the Saints' offense has actually been significantly better than Cincinnati's, which makes no sense to me, given that it has looked completely ineffective and horrible for large portions of the season. And Cincinnati has an offense featuring Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Joe Mixon. What exactly do you think has gone so wrong offensively in Cincinnati this year?
It's still the same things. I'm looking right now at their offensive line, and Jonah Williams continues to not live up to being a first-round selection at left tackle. Our guy, Lyle Collins, has struggled 53.2% grade. Alex Kappa,
they've been bad. They've been awful.
Alex Kappa, even somebody you brought in, has not been good. Your left guard, Volson, 49.5 on the season. And so it's just been more of the same. And they tried to do some things in the offseason, like bringing in 2 free agents, but it looks like it wasn't enough. So I think they still lead the league in sacks given up. Joe Mixon hasn't been able to run behind this offensive line. The last game was really the first time that he had any success. I mean, I think the Bengals were last in the league as far as yards per carry before the game last week. So you're just not, in the passing game, you're not giving your guys enough time. And then the run game, you're not creating any space, and it's more the same. And so last year you were able to overcome that, and they just haven't been, because, teams are going to scheme up what you did well last year, right? So, and when you're down T. Higgins, who didn't play in this contest, well, more attention is going to go to Jamar Chase, and they just haven't been able to have that same dynamic they had a year ago.
Yeah, it looks like right now the Bengals are right behind the Commanders, Colts, and Rams in terms of sacks allowed. They're going to have 19 sacks on the season. And so I'm looking then, obviously, if you are going to find a way to win this game, you have to beat the Bengals in the same way that these other teams have. The Saints D-line, the pass rush, is going to have to come through in a big way. And it was great to see Cam Jordan get going the other day. I think, is Cam up to 3.5 sacks on the season now? I believe. I want to say he's pacing to break that 10-sack barrier once again, like he seems to do every single year. Unfortunately, I don't know that Peyton Turner is going to factor in at all, as he is still on the injury list, dude. And the injury list is pretty depressing right now. In terms of did not play, you have Deontay Hardy, Jarvis Landry, Michael Thomas, Marshawn Lattimore, Peyton Turner, Chris Olave, and Calvin Throckmorton. In terms of limited practice, you had Ryan Ramczyk, Paulson Debo, JT Gray, Taysom Hill, Marcus May, Malcolm Roach, and Jameis Winston. With Olave, it should be noted that Nick Underhill tweeted this out, saying that Chris Olave is in the 3rd stage of concussion protocol and hasn't experienced any additional symptoms, I'm told. The 3rd stage is football-specific exercise, non-contact training drills, and full activity are next if he has no further symptoms. So that sounds like to me that Olave could be ready by Sunday if there's not a setback. I don't think that Peyton Turner will, but then again, I don't know that Peyton Turner has really proven to matter. For me, this is where Marcus Davenport has to step up. Make your like Davenport, this is a money year for you. This is your opportunity, even if it's not the Saints, to convince somebody to pay you a ton of money. And as Jake said, you were going against an offensive line that is bad. This is a game in which you can quite literally make money. Go do it. Get after Joe Burrow.
And this is the opportunity to do it. I mean, you were a player. You know how this is. Like, you look at the stats, you get them on Monday, Sunday, whenever you get them. It's like, okay, this unit and this player have really been struggling. You got excited about the game. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I know for me as a running back, it's like, hey, this linebacker room has missed more tackles than anybody in the SEC. I'm like, all right, here we go. Sign me up.
You're like,
right?
all right, I'm going to run him over.
So the report that the Saints got on Monday was, hey, this unit is bad. This unit on the edges has been really bad. They've given up 19 sacks. The guard is one of the lowest rated guards in the NFL. You have to take advantage. So you have to raise your level of play. Now, we know Cam is going to do it.
Yeah.
It's just who he is. It's what he's done on the way to a Hall of Fame career. You have to have somebody. Guys, y'all both are first-round picks, and we'll see if Turner even makes an appearance in this game.
Yeah.
You both are here with the expectation that you can take advantage of a matchup like this. Like, just go do it.
Yeah, and I agree. I think what maybe worries me, what worries me a lot here is Marshawn Lattimore being out, right? I mean, this is not the week. If you're trying to affect a pass rush, great coverage is going to be critical. Losing Marshawn Lattimore before Jamar Chase and T. Higgins is brutal. Look at the Saints-Bengals game on Sunday. Obviously, Andy Dalton is the guy. You hope that Mike Thomas is going to be back. Oh,
let me ask you this about Andy Dalton, and I meant to text y'all. Yesterday, obviously, I had some things and wasn't able to be here. Did y'all play the video of Cam Jordan on the sideline just hyping up? Okay, I'm glad. I figured y'all did. I'm glad y'all did.
Double R.
That was important for me to see.
Well, it's like, look, the fellas love Jameis. But the fellas also love Andy.
Yes.
And the fellas really love whoever gives you the best chance to win.
Yes, because sometimes when you have a quarterback change, you just never know because, as a player that's not the quarterback, you put all of your offseason in your training camp and building this faith with this one quarterback.
Yeah.
And sometimes if, he's injured or it doesn't work out, whatever the case might be, sometimes it's hard to throw all of that to someone else. But when your biggest leader is on the sidelines being the biggest cheerleader and hype man, that is very important. I know it seems so small, and I know that a lot of people probably assume, well, that should happen everywhere. It just doesn't. Does not happen everywhere. So that was good for me to see. That gives you the ability, and probably, look, Andy Dalton, again, 150 career starts. I mean, he's been in this thing. That, to me, showed, okay, this team understands right now he gives them the best chance and the best opportunity. Yeah,
I mean, and that's the thing, right? When you win, everybody gets paid more. Everybody keeps their job more. Work is easier to go into, better to go into. I don't know that you never really had any experience with being on a bad NFL team, did you, Jake? Like 8-8 was your worst team, correct?
Yes, I believe so.
So, I mean, I've heard from others that have been a part of like 3-13 and 4. This is bad. Just how miserable that work environment can be, and how everyone starts to turn on each other, and everyone's kind of looking out for themselves because, I mean, it's not like it's kind of what you should be doing at that point, right? Because you have a very good chance of not being there next year, but you want to continue to play in the NFL. Well, when you're winning, all of that changes. And so, yes, as a player, just put the guy as a player, I just want to know that as the coaching staff, you will put the guy in there that objectively is doing the best job. And right now, that's Andy Dalton. Another quarterback on this team is Taysom Hill. Obviously, Sean Payton, like we talked about on Monday, the Taysom Hill experiment reached its zenith. It was the true full realization of all of Sean Payton's dreams. Even Payton texting Loomis reportedly after the game that if that $10 million is too expensive for you, trade him to me in a couple of years, or something along those lines. But what should the expectations for Taysom Hill going forward be?
Okay, this is a tough one. Okay, don't try to be the smartest guy in the room with him, right? And that means don't do too much.
Yeah.
Don't hold him back because you think you're being secretive, right?
Yep.
Find the flow, be a good coach, and pick your spots.
Yeah.
And if you see something on tape, exploit it. Don't try to force something that is not there. If you feel like there is an advantage in the run game, and whatever that might be, whatever, like that run right there, okay, you saw
QB
something.
power's tight.
All right, you see something on tape where you feel like you have an advantage, right? That's an easy first down pickup. That's great. And also, don't try to get too cute. Don't try to do a double reverse pass just because. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you have a weapon. Watch tape like you would any other player, and say, you know what? I like Q power. I like Q counter. I like whatever it is in this game plan, and then you put it in the game plan.
Yeah, and I mean, I still think like what you probably have a short yardage package with him against everybody, right? So I still think 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, he's a huge asset. I still think in the red zone, he's a huge asset. But again, you want to be, like Jake is getting at, you want to be judicious here. You can't just do it to do it. And you can't expect him to score 4 touchdowns and everything else every single game. And there will be plays where it doesn't work. But you know, for his career, I was pretty shocked, Jake. He's averaging 5.8 yards per carry for his career. So it's working. I mean, it's working. It's working a lot more often than it's not working. So, yeah, obviously I don't expect crazy stats every single week, but I do think he should have a weekly kind of portion to varying degrees, like they said, if you see something on film. But, yeah, short yardage, goal line, he will always factor in this season.